All right. Floyd Mayweather Jr. made an offer to Jaron Ennis, and he may be the only person that can save that young man's potential or could actually enable him to reach his superstar status, help him meet his superstar ambitions, because it ain't getting done as it is. So let's relook at the Floyd Mayweather Jr. offer to Jaron Ennis and why, when this fight is over, this fight deal with Matchroom is over, he very well may need to consider that. Let's talk about that in this video. One thing is for sure, Jaron Boots Ennis needs some help. Some help taking the immense amount of talent that he has, the immense amount of skill that he has, his very fan-friendly style, and turn that into a whole lot of fans and a whole lot of people wanting to see his fights on a regular basis. He needs help. And in order to get that done, who did he call on? He called on Eddie Hearn. He was courted by every promoter out there when he was courted by every promoter and wound up settling with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, because Eddie Hearn and Matchroom said that they would keep him off, would keep him active, would get him those big fights, championship fights. And what has happened to date? Nada. Nothing has happened for him. And in fact, Matchroom seems to me to be pushing him up to 154 pounds and not making serious attempts for him to get fights at 147 with those other champions. And as a result, he's probably going to get pushed to 154 pounds and get put in another situation, the same situation that he was in before. When he was at 147 pounds, he had to wait around forever and a day to get a championship shot. Why is that? Because 154 pounds is pretty much controlled by the PBC. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. So Boots signed up with Eddie Hearn to get something that more than likely Boots is not going to get out of Eddie Hearn. So Floyd Mayweather Jr. had offered him to sign with him and said, hey, man, and this was Leonard Ellerby when he was CEO at Mayweather Promotions at the time, was saying, look, this dude is a fantastic star. We really can do some things with him. I think that eventually that's what you should see happening. If not with Floyd Mayweather Jr., but with some American promoter, specifically Al Heyman, that can put him in the mix with the fighters that he represents. And yeah, it may take some time to get the fights done, but at least he's not going to get shoveled into something where you're not, where, man, the stardom of Jaron Ennis is, first of all, it's not something that Eddie Hearn and those guys are equipped to do. They've never done it. The one time that Eddie Hearn got a superstar was like struck lightning. He had a very handsome, big, muscular heavyweight that won an Olympic gold medal in London, right? From the UK, won the Olympics in London. Everything came together for Anthony Joshua. Him doing that with Jaron Ennis is in a country that he's not from is going to be very difficult. However, if there is one person that can keep a fighter's name out in front of everybody and is very consistent with being able to do that, that's Floyd Mayweather Jr. And just the simple fact that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is around you and speaking about you is going to increase your name recognition. And if he and that Mayweather Promotions, now it is Richard Schaefer, Work with them. Then you may see that may be one of their only couple fighters that they're working with, wind up getting him on a bunch of cards, should wind up blowing up his name. And I suspect that he would be able to get the fights with some of those PBC fighters. I would hope. But I can tell you for sure, this Jaron Ennis and Karen Kugadajian disaster probably would not have happened. To lose a purse bid for Jaron Ennis, the IBF champion, to a journeyman from Germany's promoter is disastrous. How can you possibly have confidence in Eddie Hearn being able to get you fights when you lose a purse bid by dang near $400,000 to a never heard of promoter for a rematch that you really don't even want anyway? So that disaster, I don't think is happening if he's working with the PBC and doing that. Now, right now, I'm telling you, there's a lot of barriers to big fights. I don't think those barriers to big fights are going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think Turki Al-Sheikh is going to fix that problem. I just don't think he's competent enough to fix that problem, even if he did really truly have all of the resources necessary to do it. And the resources necessary to do it is not exclusively money. Relationships is a resource, and he doesn't have those relationships in the United States, and it would take a very long time to build them. So, and Jaron Ennis is not a Saudi Arabian fighter. He's not a British fighter. He's an American fighter. And all this talk about globalism in the sport and bringing the whole world, people forget or don't, in my opinion, don't appreciate that boxing truly is regional. There's UK boxing, there's Japanese boxing, there's American boxing, there's Mexican boxing. And once you get up above a certain level, then it becomes international. But most of those fights are really taking place in the United States at the highest level. But still, there ain't no way that that Turki Al-Sheikh is going to get Jaron Ennis where Jaron Ennis needs to be in the United States. I just don't see it. I haven't seen Eddie Hearn or those guys be able to do it. They may be able to spend a lot of money to make a big production and, have beautiful lights and, rap concerts and all of that stuff there. But that is not going to make people gravitate towards Jaron Ennis himself and want to see Jaron Ennis fight, want to hear what Jaron Ennis has to say about politics, wanting to know what barber he goes to, right? It's just that's the type of fan following that guys like Mayweather has, Gervonta Davis has, Canelo Alvarez has. They have people that are really connected to the fighter and want to follow that fighter no matter what. In order to get that, it's going to have to be or close to where you're from. And it just doesn't seem like those guys have that for Jaron. I personally think that, hey man, if they can revisit this after a couple fights, please revisit this after a couple fights, because if you're going to do the Devin Haney route, please remember Devin Haney eventually left Matchroom because he couldn't get the fights. So, but at the same time, I do appreciate what they're going through, because, hey, man, everybody got to get paid. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.